I am after purity in art. I make art that's unadorned. It has to do with just what you're looking at, the relationship that I have with the medium and vice versa. Nothing else. It's not about anything else.
Hey, James.
Hey, man. How are you?
Pleased to meet you. We're here at Kavi Gupta on the occasion of your show, which is opening later today. And I've been doing some reading about your work and the last 4 decades of your practice. And I was taken by particularly this piece that just came out, written by Hilary Sheets for the New York Times, which the title is something like James Little, Unapologetic Abstractionist Painter Catches the Limelight.
Yeah.
And she goes on a bit about how you have been doing this work for decades unapologetically. What exactly would you have been apologizing for?
Well, I think what she was commenting on is that the kind of work that I do is not the kind of work that has been celebrated. It's been counted out more than once. It doesn't have to do with politics, gender, race, any of the hot topics or shiny objects that prevail in the art world. I was going after stuff that was just experiential. You know, I was pretty much working in solitude or in a vacuum, but it was a commitment to painting. It wasn't a commitment to anything else. I use simple, basic, primary shapes and forms. I use geometry. Can
we just talk about that in terms of this painting right here?
Right.
Because when you say geometry and you say you're wanting to, I think, to paraphrase, manipulate color in a certain way, what I see when I see this is I see a grid laid on top of what looks almost like an underpainting that is gestural, intuitive.
Right. Some of it is intuitive, but a lot of it isn't.
Okay.
Some of it is spontaneous, but a lot of it isn't. You're looking at probably the last 2 or 3 layers of paint, but there's a lot of underpainting and a lot of other things that I do to activate the surface of the painting. And sometimes paint bleeds under, sometimes I may be heavy-handed with the paint or a color. I'm not concerned with so much of that. What I'm trying to do is create a synthesis. It harks back to painters like Mondrian and de Kooning, you know, his excavations. And when you look at those works, there's a lot that goes into the surface. It's what they do to take it beyond that. So you have to take the painting beyond abstraction. You have to take the realist painting beyond realism. I want objecthood and I want objectivity at the same time. If I look at a bouquet of flowers, the only thing that I'm looking at is color.
I specifically was really interested in the difference between the ones that kind of show up more as little squares and the other ones that show up as circles.
They're still gridded, but it's just a shape. Once I decide to change the shape, the visual experience changes and the personality changes. It sort of almost forces you to come in to look beyond those circles as opposed to the squares. They seem to stay on the surface more and compete more.
Can we talk about these? Because these are fascinating to me. I noticed that the way that you approach the painting, depending on the angle of view, the sheen, the gloss of the painting change depending on where you are in relationship to the painting.
The paintings absorb light and they're on different angles. Things don't line up. That's deliberate. And so when you move around the painting, they become sort of animated. These paintings are oil and wax, or you could call them encaustic paintings. And some of that comes from the way I build up the surface and the brushwork. It's sort of with a nod to Black exceptionalism and talent and stars. I worked in the entertainment business for a few years and I met everybody from Eartha Kitt to Sammy Davis Jr. I mean, you name them, I met them. You know, it was an idea.
You mean Black celebrity?
Well, it's just a nod to them.
Right.
It had nothing to do with what I'm going to do with this painting.
Right.
But what I want to do was do something emblematic, keep it reductive. I mean, there's only two shades of black here. And I have some geometry and some designs. It opened up a lot for me with this particular group of paintings. I'm not done with this yet.
You're still exploring where this can take you?
Well, what I do, I allow the paintings to dictate where I go. So I don't say that, okay, I'm going to do another one of these, it's going to be green or blue or something. You may not see another one. Then 3 years later, you may see something similar. It's in my tool chest.
When I look at your work, I think of Pierre Soulages. I can't help but think of him.
Well, Soulages worked in black, but Soulages had more to do with probably Franz Klein. A lot of times I don't look at other painting at all. A lot of times my ideas can come from textiles or primitive art, sometimes a little African art. It can come from almost any place. But it has to be something that is meaningful to me and something that can be resonant. I'm interested in flatness. I'm interested in surface and flatness. And I also do things that are rational and some things are irrational.
Can you point out something that's irrational?
These don't line up.
Yeah, they don't connect.
No.
Okay.
So that's irrational.
All right.
And if it was rational, they would. It would be a design.
Right.
It would be, something that you could take to a printer and mass produce. That's not what I'm after. The work has to have some psychology and some humanity. When I leave this building, I'm going to go outside. It's going to be everything that was out there before I came in. That's not what I'm looking at. That's not what I'm looking for. It's out there, but I have to find it, and it's not obvious. It's not something that's in front of me. So it goes along with imagination and vision, how you use your own intuition to bring things together. Yes. That's why the paintings look unique. That's what great art does. It holds its own space. And so you can take it and put it anywhere at any time. When it works, it works. If it fails, it fails. And I know what I want, I know what I'm trying to do, and that's what I stick to.